Broadcasting to you live from the Orion Spiral Arm of the Milky Way Galaxy, the solar system planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, no longer in California, Los Angeles, to be pseudo-specific. My name is BrianEngelman. Today is Wednesday, September 24th, 2025, and you are here on today's episode of the TNAM Daily Show. What does TNAM stand for? The New American Media. Thank you very much for being here. So there's another attack. There's another sniper attack. There's more reports of engraved bullets on the heels of the Charlie Kirk assassination. It's being reported one person dead at an ICE facility in Dallas, Texas. America under attack. What is going on? Other reports that there are two people, and then trying to make sense of, are they ICE agents or were they detainees? And of course, the instant blame game is occurring. Got to blame the other side. Who is the violent side in America? Jimmy Kimmel goes back on air in some places. We'll talk about that. We'll cover the rest of the news. We'll dump out the rubbish can. We will rifle through the rubbish and separate fake news from fact. Also, check out the earlier show that I did, the Strictly Guardians / The Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Best story in baseball. Best story in sports, actually, for the Cleveland Guardians. We're 15 and a half games out of first place pretty recently and went on a tear and just beat the Tigers to take sole possession. They're tied, but they have the tiebreaker, which means they're in possession. If the playoffs started today, they're in it. So we did a sports show about the Cleveland Browns, the Indians, touched on the Buckeyes and Cavaliers briefly. Also, we did a show yesterday, Strictly Football. Have you ever watched it? That is the show with Mike Barra, Jim Mitchell, Ezrael Robinson, and myself. We're on episode 5 of season 2. Check out that show. Hit like, hit subscribe. We have 2 podcasts. One is the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Please subscribe. And the other is the Agree to Disagree Show. That's how we started it, and that's what we're going to keep it as. That'll encompass the TNAM Daily Show shows. So we got a lot of news to get to. There's breaking news. Several people injured. 2 people deceased. 3rd shooting in Texas. Yeah. There's an assassination culture that's running rampant right now. And I think we need to get this under control immediately. So let's launch into today's program and talk about all the things. Here we go.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. What's up, regulars? The bar is open. We're going to talk about all the stuff on the screens. I'm your not-so-humble bartender. Or your humble bartender. Depends on the day, on the topic, I suppose, perhaps. We have so much to talk about. So hello to all the regulars. By the way, special thanks to John. See this here? These mugs are available to you. John sent me a shipment of these. They're red on the inside, black on the outside, the New American Media logo. John wanted the regulars to have some mugs. So let me put this on the screen here at the bottom. Okay, why is it doing that? Turn the volume down. If you would like a mug, we're doing a special thing. Any of the places. So $30 Super Chat, $30 Venmo or Cash App, or $30 PayPal. And you can just send me your address where you would like the mug shipped, and we will send you a New American Media, the New American Media coffee mug. How about that? So if you want a mug, just Super Chat 30 and we'll ship it out, or PayPal or Venmo or Cash App. They're all at the bottom of the screen. Also, getting toward the end of another month, Patreon members are all appreciated. And if you haven't considered subscribing, please consider subscribing to Patreon to support our show. Yeah, look at that. The New American Media mugs. Thanks, John. All right. Let's see who's in the bar now that we're open. Of course, John is there. What's up? Kenneth, what's up? Trash Pander. Marion, howdy, howdy. Marion's on vacation in the Gulf of America. Hey, now. Hey, now. Gulf of America, the Gulf of Trump. Yes, the waiting is the hardest part. Yeah, I did a longer show this morning, a sports show. I haven't been doing a lot of sports shows. Did Strictly Football yesterday. Please check it out. Please subscribe. You know, watch it, share it. We break down what happened last week and we look ahead to next week. It is a good show. Top of the morning to you, Unholy Hoax. I'm wearing my Cleveland Indians hat because the Guardians are playing fantastic baseball. Such a come from behind. It's a real story you could get behind. And the franchise hasn't won a championship in like 70 something years, 72, 77 years. Let me double check. Just for curiosity. Last Indians. It's 1948 or 52? 48. Against the Boston Braves. So yeah, maybe us. But yeah, I do that show called The Unhappy Hour Sports Show. See it up there? See, we got a logo and everything in the corner. Anyway, I'll put the other one back up. Thank you all for being here. A lot to talk about. Kenneth, sold. Sold to Kenneth. I'd like some a franchise. Pensacola. You ordered a franchise in Pensacola. Who was that comic? I like salt in my franchise. All right, thanks everybody. Let's dump the news out. Interesting things. Tell us if you agree or disagree. Let's break them all down. The issue of immigration being discussed here. Who shared this? Martin Cedra. Okay, let's take a listen. He has warnings.
Say to Christians that are confused on the issue of immigration.
Muslims should not be allowed if they do not subscribe to the God of the Bible, and if they do not leave Sharia law, if they do.
There's music, so this guy's saying if they do not leave violent Allah, and that's coming from an immigrant himself, he says. Muslim immigrants are very dangerous. They're commanded by the Quran and Muhammad to kill infidels, establish Sharia law. They're not there to be protected. They're there to take over the country. They're the reason why Muslims left the Muslim nation, because they're horrible, incompetent, poor, tyrannical. That's why you're here. Otherwise, why the hell did you come here? If it was great over there, burning the flag of the country, That's not an immigrant. That's someone that wants to be an enemy, someone who wants Sharia law. That's not an immigrant. They're actually an enemy. If you're going to come here, hate the country, burn the flag, stab our people, and get out of the country, we're going to deport you. Either submit to the laws or get out, says Martin Cedra. I tried to let you hear that in his words, but somebody decided to put unnecessary music behind it. Do you agree or disagree with that? Tell me in the comments. It's long been said, immigration without assimilation is invasion. Immigration without assimilation is invasion. This No Hands account is trying to figure out what's going on here with some uptick in political violence.
Aberdeen shooter was trans. The Nashville shooter was trans. The Philadelphia shooter was trans. The Iowa shooter was gender fluid. The Colorado STEM school shooter was trans. I mean, this is not unique. And we need to be praying for a culture that endorses mental illness and celebrates it. The Denver shooter was trans. The Aberdeen shooter was trans.
And if you turn on MSNBC or CNN, they'll say white men are the most dangerous demographic. We're playing a vicious game of demagoguery. But given the minuscule percentage of people suffering from gender dysphoria, the shocking amount of violent homicidal acts, it's jarring to the country. We have to examine, what are these kids consuming? What are they being told in their schools, in their high schools, in their colleges, on their media? What are they being told? There's the rampant lie. You hear genocide just thrown around. Oh, there's genocide in Gaza. Wait, do you mean that there's an active hot war in a place? There is an active hot war in the place. Both sides feel like the other side is trying to completely exterminate them. That's literally what war is, to delete you off of the chessboard. That's why you might want to try to avoid war. Some trans people are being told that there's a genocide. They want to exterminate trans people. And you're like, where, point to any of that. Point to a single case where that's happening. Parents don't want this ideology pushed upon their children in the schools. And they don't want men beating up on women in sports. Isn't that mostly the extent of it? That's not a genocide. That's not even close. I mean, this country's like Mrs. Doubtfire, if you're thinking in the 90s, or Klinger on MASH, if you're in 70s, 80s, or RuPaul, if you're today. But there's Rocky Horror Picture Show in the 70s, 80s. I've witnessed so many lies about Charlie Kirk, completely misrepresenting positions to say he was saying literally the exact opposite of what he was saying, in a way that you feel like this was very clear and coherent. How did this get changed in the telephone game to be dumped in the minds of somebody that can be radicalized to go kill, to hate that person so much that you need to go end them? That's not coming from the right. That's coming from the left. Saying, leave the women alone in their restrooms. That's not a genocide. That's like, hey, man, come on. You want to live how you want to live. You want to take puberty blockers and have surgeries that you're going to pay for at the age 18 years old. You can do you, and you can live in your, to what degree did Dave Chappelle, he said something like, to what degree do you require my participation in your version of reality? There should be respect for people suffering with gender dysphoria. And if you truly just enjoy living in a different way, to a certain degree, that is what it is. But if what you really enjoy is creeping on women in the bathrooms where they're naked or in various stages of undress, like, that's not a thing. That's not genocide either. So dial that shit back. There's literally nobody coming out here saying you can't live authentically as you wish. But there are a couple of guardrails in place to keep society from going down the mountainside. So We have to figure out what we will and will not tolerate. Well, Antifa surrounded a federal building in Eugene, Oregon to protest ICE. And there was a shooting at the Dallas ICE station today. This is an organized campaign of terrorism, domestic terrorism, sponsored by the left, encouraged by the left, radicalized by the left, acting out. They're the ones that burned America down in the Summer of Love 2020 riots. Kamala Harris promoting the Minnesota Freedom Fund to bail out violent rioters. This is the Democrats. This is the deep state Democrats.
Shouldn't fucking be here with your fucking iPhone.
They're bullies. They always have been. And now they're domestic terrorists. They always have been.
Everybody makes fun of the Democrats really screaming. You catch that on camera, that sucks.
People have a right to peaceably protest. There's an update to this. I'll get to it. Oh, is there music here?
It doesn't.
Can't play it because someone put music on it. Charlie Kirk's gone. He was one of the most coherent, respectful debaters you'll find. So now you get Nick Fuentes and Milo Yiannopoulos, I suppose. Milo Yiannopoulos says it doesn't matter if you agree with the literal truth of Christianity or not. The founders did, and they made a country for people who did. If you don't agree with that, you don't appreciate that we should not only restore Christianity and culture, but require it in public life, then you should go to Canada. They say the whole speech is fire. And then the comments, we got a gay Jew peddling Christianity before we get Grand Theft Auto 6. Oh, the comments section. Oh, the comments section. But we were there in Cleveland. We talked to Milo the day he got banned on Twitter. That was a big deal. That was before they were doing stuff they knew to be patently illegal. That was before the general public knew the massive amount of censorship going on in social media. But yeah, I was thinking about Christianity compared to other religions. I think Christianity just has two major things. Don't steal and don't kill. You got 10 commandments, but it's pretty much just don't steal, don't kill, don't be a jerk. That's a perfect groundwork to have a nation inside of. Christians being salespeople, they would go and missionary work or spreading gospel, evangelizing Jesus Christ and God. Christ is king, that type of stuff. And if someone's not interested, they go, all right, well, thanks a lot. I'll be here if you happen to change your mind. You have an open invitation to come with me on Sunday. It'd be fun to hang out. All right, cool. Whereas you look at Sharia law and conquering nations and subjugating anyone into an infidel status that doesn't go along with your plan, that you're attacked. That's the mafia. That's not what's happening in Christianity. They're like, hey, don't steal, don't kill. Like the most basic things society should be able to agree upon. So there are differences. There are differences in what America is, but America, I mean, it's a battleground. People are trying to change America. Oklahoma being one of those states in America. Here's an update. Take a listen from Oklahoma.
I'm excited to announce today that every Oklahoma high school will have a Turning Point USA chapter. We have seen the outpouring from parents, teachers, and students that want to be engaged in the meaningful work going on at Turning Point. They want their young people to be engaged in a process that understands free speech, open engagement, dialogue about American greatness, a dialogue around American values. We're so excited to partner with Turning Point USA.
And by the way, The left is sheer brute power, physical attacks, intimidation, violence, bullies, terrorists, domestic terrorists, the mafia, the mob. This is a crystal clear delineation. You reach a fork in the road. Do you go this way or do you go this way?
With this initiative, for far too long, we have seen radical leftists with the teachers union dominate classrooms and push woke indoctrination on our kids. They fight parents' rights. They push parents out of the classroom, and they lie to our kids about American history. What we're going to continue to do is make sure that our kids understand American greatness, engage in civic dialogue, and have that open discussion. We will continue to do all that we can to make sure Oklahoma students have the best education possible. I'm excited to announce today that every Oklahoma...
So there you go. Debate and conversation must be encouraged and protected so we can root out lousy ideas, terrible policies, and get America back on track. That's the comment I left. Andrew Colvett says, here's a huge update. After Sunday's memorial for Charlie Kirk, Turning Point USA received a massive surge of inquiries to start new chapters. Pre-Sunday, we had 60,000 inquiries. After Sunday, we are now at 120,000 inquiries. Even accounting for attrition and duplicates, we are on the cusp of having a TPUSA or Club America chapter in every high school and college campus in America. I'll put a Charlie 1 button. See if we can get some likes on that. Because, yeah, that's how Charlie won. You don't win by snuffing out conversation. Ghouls. We're not having it. This is not, you don't get to dictate terms like this. Nope. They've declared war. The forces of evil have declared war. So train accordingly, act accordingly. Just be aware of where we're at. So here's Cubs rookie Matt Shaw discussing how he went to his friend Charlie Kirk's memorial.
And his wife Erica had texted me asking me if I would come to the funeral, and I felt as though it was something that was really important for me to do.
Are you concerned about the backlash, because there is a lot of politics involved in this?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'm not concerned at all. No, my connection with Charlie was through our faith. That's something that drives me every day. That's the reason why I'm able to do what I do every day, and that's something I'm extremely thankful for. I know without my faith and without the many blessings I've been given in my life that I wouldn't be here able to talk to you guys, able to help this team eventually go and win championships. So that's something I feel really, really blessed about. So whatever backlash comes is okay. I feel strong about my faith and that what was meant to be happened. Man. Yeah, I mean.
And they removed the beginning part where he said, we played it on the Unhappy Hour sports show this morning. He said, yeah, he talked to his veteran teammates to see if he had their support, and they did. He did have it from them. Just what a weird question. Backlash to go to your friend's funeral. Like, what does that even mean? Why would you ask that? Where's that reporter from? What narrative is she pushing? Backlash. These people, man, backlash to go to a funeral. I mean, what? Anyway, that's Cubs rookie Matt Shaw. They said that Charlie would text him. He's one of the biggest Cubs fans that he knows. You always text him, go Cubbies, big win. It's like they were cool. I guess they knew each other in Arizona. All right, Timcast News put this out and says, Mujtaba Muhammad, a North Carolina Democrat senator. See, can we make it so that our senators our congressmen have the same requirements as presidents, that you have to be born in this country? This man might be. I know that there are several that are not. Why shouldn't you have the same requirement to be a senator, to be a House of Representatives member, as it would be to be president? You need people in this country that care about this country and this country's ideals and values. Anyway, Mujtaba Mohammed, a North Carolina Democrat senator, introduced a legislative amendment trying to ban the use of a deceased crime victim's name, age, image, or likeness in political ads without the consent of their family in response to the savage murder of Irina Zarutska. Oh, the comments. I loathe that smugly grinning worm. I'd like to announce an amendment to ban anyone named Mohammed from our legislative bodies, says DPDG3. People with Star Wars names should not be allowed to voice their opinion or serve in the office of America. Garbaggio says that's not how we do things around here. Mujtaba. You know that that story, that Irina Zarutska story, was the flashpoint. It was the George Floyd of normal America. She was not a criminal. She wasn't engaged in illegal activities. She wasn't stealing from a store. She wasn't high on drugs. She didn't overdose, have a panic attack. She didn't resist arrest. She sat on a bus and was butchered. Butchered while busing. Yeah, you're damn right you're going to see advertisements about it. And I guess the North Carolina just changed their law. There'll no longer be cashless bail. You need to keep crazy, violent people locked away. And the Democrats have been letting crazy, violent people out to harm sweet young people like Irina Zarutska. Innocent people, did nothing to anybody. Charlie Kirk, man, he talked for 10,000 hours. He'd have almost any conversation with anybody. That's what this country's built on, and you snuffed him out for that. You let Bill Maher speak. Yeah, we'll get to Jimmy Kimmel, I guess, if we have to. It's sort of a story, and it's also a non-story, and you also... Anyway, Irina Zarutska. I almost think we need to see that video. They cut out the worst parts. There's two trains of thought on that. Matt Walsh says leftists are enraged by the spectacle yesterday. They're calling us Christian nationalists. They say that we want to usher in a new era of Christian nationalism. They claim that we are more radicalized than we've ever been, and they're 100% correct on all counts. Bren says, had Erica demanded vengeance yesterday, the left would have screamed fascism. But she didn't. She preached forgiveness and love. And yet the response was the same hysteria. Our words don't matter to them. Our existence does. Our words don't matter to them. Our existence does. Daniel says, what is Christian nationalism? Another made-up phrase to demonize folks. That's what they did with cis. They wanted to... Yeah, Norm Macdonald answered that question in some interview. Yeah, it's just some made-up term they're trying to use to make fun of normal people. Like, I mean, our species is designed to reproduce, to have babies, to replicate. We don't need a term like cis to describe humans. We don't need that. I've never used that term. It's fairly unnecessary. This is just a classic video here. One of the best moments. This Democrat full of hate in the car. He lost. He lost. Tries to grab the flag and then speeds away. right into a telephone pole. All that hate. And he can't get out. He's stuck.
All that hate.
All that hate, and look what it gets you, man.
It's unfortunate that it happened, but man, that is. Oh, and now you got the cops here.
And now the cop shows up right behind him.
Oh man. Yeah, he spit on the guy.
I know, he stepped on it. You know, I was the one paying attention. You know what I mean?
Tell me you got all that. I did.
You did?
I did.
Can you send it to him and then he crashed it?
He lost. He lost. Stupid asshole.
So that's just a vibe check for Kenneth. I know. Look, I'm sifting through the trash. I don't agree with all the things I say. I put them out there because people are talking about them. I'm curious to get your thoughts. Type your comments in. Hit like, hit subscribe. Share the show with your friends. The logo went off the bottom of the screen again. There we are. C3 put this meme out. Democrats trying to explain why Jimmy Kimmel being fired is free speech violation, but the Biden administration using Google, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube to silence conservatives is not a free speech violation. Jim Jordan released a whole bunch of stuff. YouTube, Google, Facebook admitting all the censorship, and we're looking for reparations. $1 million a year that you've been doing it to super users like us to destroy our companies. Yeah, Google's got the deep pockets to apologize and say, you know, if we weren't kneecapping you for the last 6 years, it is very possible your endeavors, your efforts could have been massively more well, it's hard to swim when you have all those weights. It's hard to go somewhere when, you know, it's just it's sabotage, and there should be a penalty pay for that, a financial penalty to pay for the sabotage. That's what they've been engaged in. Political activity violating our civil liberties. So yeah, Jimmy Kimmel versus all the social media. All right, Tucker Carlson. Do you believe in life after love? Do you believe the 9/11 Commission report?
Truth is, the official 9/11 Commission report, sold to the American public and the world for decades as the definitive account of what happened that day, is a lie. When Congress released its report, the 28 pages dealing with the hijackers' time in Southern California were hidden. They were redacted. When a man called Philip Zelikow took over...
There's music. I'm going to let it go because I'm trying to... Oh, this just in on David Fry. Broken nose, facial fractures from being hit by a pitch yesterday. Broken bone and facial fractures. Doing okay. He's in good spirits. He's upright. He's alert. Ugh, it's Fry squared to turn around and bunt a 99-mile-an-hour fastball from Tarek Skubal yesterday in the Cleveland game, and the pitch struck him in the nose and mouth area. Fry collapsed, grabbed his face, visibly shaken. Skubal threw off his glove and hat as Vogt trainers rushed to the field. Gave a thumbs up. It was straight to the face. Okay, so that's the update there. All-star player last year. He's on... he's pretty injured. Okay, well, there's the update.
As the commission's executive director, he reached a secret agreement with the White House to block his investigators from accessing records related to the hijackers until the White House had already screened them.
So it's redacted and hidden information. Where have we heard that before?
Government documents show that the commission investigator assigned to this topic complained that, quote, Zelikow limited the number of witnesses that commission investigators could interview. And
so it sounds like you have somebody sabotaging the investigation from the inside.
Just days before the report was released, Dieter Snell, senior counsel to the commission, attempted to remove most of the details of the Saudi collaboration with the hijackers. Some of
the Saudi collaboration with the hijackers, that was an inconvenient narrative, so they wanted to try and lie about what was going on, is the allegation here.
the findings were included in the end, but they were buried in the footnotes.
9/11 Commission was a cover-up.
But how did the Bush administration manage to hijack what was sold as an independent commission?
Is anybody surprised about this?
And what exactly were they trying to hide? We'll reveal what we found in the next episode.
There you go, Tucker Carlson. He's in the spotlight right now. A lot of concern from donors to Charlie Kirk's Turning Point organization that they had Tucker Carlson speak. And Tucker's not carrying water for Israel right now. So the allegation is that it was Israel that took Charlie Kirk out. And there's a lot of anti-Tucker Carlson stuff going on, a lot of anti-Thomas Massey stuff going on right now. Is it all coming from AIPAC? Is it all coming from Israel? No. In fact, there's a lot of MAGA people that are turning on Massey because some people say that he's betraying the president and he's acting like a Democrat. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying much about any of these things. I'm trying to consider these conversations and see where things fit. So that 9/11 show with Tucker Carlson sounds kind of interesting. So here's Bill Maher talking with Joe Rogan. What's going on with this current Democrat Party? Well, Bill breaks it down. He's no Republican by any stretch. And he's encountered his share of pushback because he doesn't go along with the mob, the domestic terrorists, that say, you must believe this thing or else you're our enemy. It's like, who the hell are you? Get out of my face.
When people say to me, don't you think you've gotten more conservative? No, I haven't. The left has gotten goofier.
Yes.
So I seem more conservative, maybe, but it's not me who changed.
Yes.
I feel I'm the same guy, but 5 years ago, we hadn't spent $6 trillion to stay home. I mean, I understand we had to do something with the pandemic. I'm not sure that was, I remember when $1 trillion was too much to spend on anything. We didn't spend $1 trillion to bail out the economy in 2008. So we didn't do that. 5 years ago, no one was talking about abolishing the police. There was no talk about, pregnant men. I mean, there was just looting was still illegal.
Right. Isn't that crazy?
Have I changed? No, because if someone had said 20 years ago, I'm not sure looting is a bad thing, I would have opposed it then. See, so I haven't changed. When people say to me, don't you think you've gotten more conservative? No.
Nope. It's the children who are wrong, says Principal Skinner. Yeah, that party, that Democrat Party, is morphed into a violent domestic terrorist organization. That's not how we do things in this country. We talk about it. We persuade with better ideas, better policies that work, things that are tested, things that are approved. Don't appreciate the bully tactics. And the people you're not going to bring your Christian nationalism into our country. It's like that. The whole country was built on Judeo-Christian principles. And it's really just don't steal, don't kill. Yeah, but abortion, that's my body, my choice. That's the DNA of another human being. That's a third person involved. It took one to create it, and then that is a third one. If the reconciliation that we need to have is that you regrettably have abortion allowed in this country, I mean, what else is left? You don't get to steal. I mean, it's the most basic guidelines for a society. It's the opposite of extreme. It's like the most basic request you could ask for. Don't steal, don't kill. Danielle D'Souza Gill says TPUSA is now on the cusp of having it. Yep, every single high school and college. Charlie Kirk's assassination has sparked the biggest political surge in youth in modern history. His movement will shape America for decades to come. A new chapter in every high school and college. Yeah, that just proves Charlie won. And I heard Steven Crowder talking about it. There needs to be legislation that forces these colleges to show the equal amount of protection on their campuses to all speakers. They've let violent, radical domestic terrorists try to run conservative, Republican, libertarian, MAGA members off of their campuses. It's not how you do things. These are publicly funded schools. This is America. These are your students. If you're allowing your students to get violent with people, what are you cranking out at your institution? That needs to be criminal, to crank out zealots. Can't have an education if all you're doing is indoctrination. Natalie Jean says, so I've been listening to, must be close to over 100 hours of Charlie Kirk since his assassination. One thing he did, he almost always put the microphone down on the table when his opponent was speaking. It's a small thing, but incredibly respectful. He was really listening to these students, most of whom were again left-wing and have now been silenced too. Key thing about censorship is that it not only takes away the right of the speaker, it takes away the right of the listener to hear them. Natalie says that they shot the best of us. You know, all the student voices on the left are silenced also. Dennis Prager speaks out. I haven't heard from Dennis Prager in forever. So this is Marissa Street and Dennis Prager.
So Dennis, we're sitting here today on the day of the memorial of Charlie Kirk. I came here because I wanted to sit with you, knowing that it is very likely that if
There's music on this. Do I risk it again? He would have been on that stage, but sadly he couldn't be on that stage. What was the quote? There was a...
Well, I think you're right. I think
This music has got me shook, you guys. I want to hear him talk.
Erica knew of our friendship.
Erica knew of our friendship and how much I had touched Charlie's life, I mentioned earlier.
He claimed to have listened to more of my talks and courses than probably anyone else, and he might be right. And he's dedicated his last book to me, and
he was very moved by that. He did record something for them, but didn't have video. He's not even sure that she ever got to hear it. Anyway, watch this video. But it's got that piano music in the back that we're not even listening to, but it would.
Funerals.
Rabbis officiated 100 funerals.
What he does is he speaks.
Oh, okay. So the rabbi he talks to everybody: the widows, the widowers, the children, the friends. And he was moved when he would speak to the children, and they would each tell him that they believed they were the most loved of the children. And that's what Charlie's friends think of him. Everyone was the closest friend that he had. And that's what it felt like at the memorial. Anyway, watch the rest. I want to listen to Dennis, but they have piano music that they're going to censor me for. I'm calling for some sort of end to this. The ability to click a button and take the music out. because I can't even, I just can't trust that these videos will even remain on YouTube. If you play this, I care 0% for the music in the background. I just want to hear Dennis Prager talking. But that's what people felt about Charlie. That's what he was able to achieve, which is a very great accomplishment. Anyway, he would have spoken about his courage, but not just courage, his knowledge. And he praises his ability to debate on just about anything.
Watch him respond to all these students who threw everything they had at him. And
his responses were so excellent, knowledge-based. Couldn't get over how much he knew and retained. It was all very remarkable, pretty amazing to see. Almost the entire cabinet, vice president, president, all gathered in one place. And he's not sure that he even knew how big his impact was. So yeah, Charlie won. There's a saying among the, this is I was waiting to get to this quote. I couldn't find the quote. There's a saying among the timber workers in Oregon. You never know the height of a tree until it falls. And that's the case with Charlie. You never know the height of a tree until it falls. That's a good line. Eric Daughtry here reporting what I just told you a moment ago. North Carolina House passes Irina's law to end cashless bail, preventing release of violent offenders and closing loopholes following the killing of Irina Zarutska. Say her name, Irina Zarutska. Type it, please. It's a veto-proof majority. The Democrat governor can't successfully stop it. Irina's law. It's time to mandate that everywhere. So yes, of course, YouTube admits the Biden administration pressured them to censor Americans, offers terminated channels the opportunity to rejoin the platform. Cat Turd said that's what real censorship looks like. And we said it's time for a massive class action from the media super users like us. They robbed us of growth, market share, revenue, and standing. I mean it. This has to be a significant monetary penalty. $1 million a year back to 2019. $6 million for the people impacted. Make it hurt for YouTube so that this never happens again.
Well, what I've seen.
Here's Stephen A. Smith talking about Kamala Harris. She's out there trying to sell a book and trying to make her, I don't know what she's trying to do, honestly. She needs to just go away and stay away. But she wants to be in the spotlight again, and Stephen A. doesn't get it.
From the standpoint of her promoting this book. Number one, she's saying things that she should have said when she was running, running for the presidency. She was quiet and deferred to her loyalty and gave Joe Biden much of a bigger voice than she needed to when she was indeed the Democratic nominee. She came across as somewhat leaderless at that particular moment in time, which is something that Trump was pointing out. Then to come out with this book after you lose the election, after you lose the popular vote for the first time for a Democrat since 2004, after you lose every swing state, after young blacks, young Hispanics, and, all of those numbers dipped in Trump's favor because of you. You come out with a book and you're talking about Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania, who I interviewed last week. Oh, he was too ambitious. You're looking at Gavin Newsom. You pointed out how he didn't return your calls. You were talking about the tepid response that you got from Michelle and Barack Obama. You know, you talked about Biden and how, you know, it shouldn't have been about egos and all of this stuff. Nobody wants to hear this now. This is the problem. And this is why I believe her political career is over. Listen, I'm not as connected to the political apparatus as you are, but I've had some people come up to me since those quotes from her, the excerpts from her book came out. And they said to me last year, you know what a couple of people said to me? They said, we ain't taking her calls. How do we know that she's not taping them? How do we know she's not taping our phone calls? What are you doing revealing private conversations? Okay? This is the kind of stuff that ends up haunting you. And so you like she pointed out, she didn't have as much Democratic support as she would have wanted to begin with. It was all manufactured in the end. Once she was the Democratic nominee, it wasn't about you. It was about people who didn't want Trump to be president. It wasn't about you, and people were enamored with you, and they couldn't wait to go to the polls to vote for you, because if that's the case, you would have made it to Iowa in 2020. You would have been able to endure a primary prior to the election, but you bypassed all of that. They clearly did it purposefully because they didn't want her to have to compete for the Democratic nomination. Nancy Pelosi's on the record saying she thought that the process should have happened.
She would have never won a primary. Her and Joe Biden were the two least popular in 2020. Don't forget that. The establishment put those two together, the two least popular among all of the people vying for that open position. They teamed them up and forced all the other ones to resign, step away from the race, and get promised cabinet positions. That's how they were going to play it. They needed their puppet. We'll just put Biden in there. He's neutral. You know what? I think we can ram this one through. Kamala Harris didn't receive a single primary vote. And she was selected to run that party, the party that you see just corkscrewing itself into the ground. Approval ratings where are they at? Single digits yet?
It didn't happen. All of these things that she comes out and she's speaking about now, I think she's doomed. And then I'm incredibly disappointed.
So he thinks she's doomed, and I don't think much differently. Brett Lee here says the same people screaming, trust the science during COVID, they're the same ones now guzzling Tylenol as an act of defiance against science.
It's not.
So yeah, President Trump and Bobby Kennedy Make America Healthy Again campaign came out with a whole bunch of things. It seems like many are only focusing on the Tylenol component, but listen to Dr. Drew talk about it with Adam Carolla yesterday. Just listen to that. Listen to some doctors discuss it. This isn't Trump coming up with some wild theory. These are the doctors. These are left-wing institutions running these studies that are giving the evidence. And I told you, if Trump came out and said, hey, it's going to be a great day today, I look forward to seeing you out in the sunny courtyard at the Rose Garden. We're going to have an outdoor press conference. The media would show up in galoshes and rain jackets and umbrellas. Just out of spite. It's the weirdest thing. So Trump made news on that front about discussing autism and ADHD and all sorts of things, because studies like Harvard are indicating increased risk. And they've decided to fund more research to determine, is this something that can be replicated? Is this accurate? This is exactly what you should want out of a medical industry. And if you're having some sort of knee-jerk reaction to something that you don't even understand, I'd encourage you to take a step back, look in the mirror, try to reevaluate where you're at. They're doing more research into these areas where left-wing groups like Harvard have indicated increased likelihood. Anyway, Trump also went to the UN and calls out the United Nations for running a global warming scam.
Politically correct. I'll be very badly criticized for saying it, but
I'm here to tell the truth. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'd play it for you, but it has some violin music in the background. I really wish YouTube wouldn't censor these videos. I so much prefer listening to the person. I don't want to talk. In 1982, the executive director of the United Nations Environmental Program predicted that by the year 2000, climate change would cause a global catastrophe. He said that it will be irreversible, as any nuclear holocaust would be. This is what they said at the United Nations. What happened? Here we are. Another UN official stated in 1989 that within a decade, entire nations could be wiped off the map by global warming. And not happening. You know, I used to be a global cooling years ago in the 1920s and 30s. They said global cooling will kill the world. We have to do something. And then they said global warming will kill the world. But then it started getting cooler, so they just called it climate change. That way they can't miss, right? It's climate change, because if it goes up or down, whatever the hell happens, you have climate change. It's the biggest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion. Climate change, no matter what happens. You're involved in that. No more global warming, no more global cooling. All those predictions made by the United Nations and many others, often and for bad reasons, were wrong. They're made by stupid people that have cost their countries fortunes and given those same countries no chance for success. If you don't get away from this green scam, your country is going to fail. And I'm really good at predicting things, you know. They actually said during the campaign, they had a hat, best-selling hat. Trump was right about everything. I don't say that in a braggadocious way, but it's true. I've been right about everything, and I'm telling you that if you don't get away from the new green energy scam, your country is going to fail. Yeah, Trump off the teleprompter. They jam-stopped him on the escalator, almost causing him and Melania to fall down and injure themselves. I mean, she barely held herself up, and he barely didn't bowl her over. They could have all been injured. And then when he gets to the teleprompter stops working. Really, really ratchet job over there at the UN. So what is this? President Trump says, I can't believe ABC fake news gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back. The White House was told by ABC that his show was canceled. Something happened between then and now because his audience is gone and his talent was never there. So why would they want someone back who does so poorly, who's not funny, who puts the network in jeopardy? By playing 99% positive Democrat garbage, he is yet another arm of the DNC. And to the best of my knowledge, that would be a major illegal campaign contribution. I think we're going to test ABC out on this. Let's see how we do. Last time I went after them, they gave me $16 million. This one sounds even more lucrative. A true bunch of losers. Let Jimmy Kimmel rot in his bad ratings. Robert says, does anyone know what channel Jimmy Kimmel Live is on tonight? I want to make sure I don't accidentally watch it. Another comment. Can't wait to see Trump turn the ABC into already been canceled. FCC license, suspend it. Take it or go after the money, people of Disney and its owners. Hard. Quit playing with them. He knows who they are. And I'm not talking about Iger, although he is a D-bag. These companies are, I mean, if it feels fair to say that they're illegal campaign contributions, for real. Here's Patriotic Peach. And by the way, anybody worth their salt would know they would want to dump these loser programs as soon as possible. It's also been said that the U.S. aid money drawing up is getting rid of all these non-lucrative programs because they can't get subsidized the way they were before. I don't know. The truth is probably somewhere in between a Venn diagram of multiple points here. Patriotic Peach talks about Google admitting censorship under Biden.
How do you know Google just admitted what we've been saying for years? Yes, they did censor Americans under Biden. Think about that. The place where you go to look up facts. Turns out Google was censoring the facts.
In real time, they think that they're God. They think that there's the arbiter of fact. And how many times have they been doing absolutely antithetical actions toward fact? A lot. Antithetical to fact.
They admitted they banned thousands of YouTube accounts for political speech.
That's a civil liberty violating thing, isn't it?
And people talking about schmovid. And election.
And the fact that you can't even say COVID, you schmovid. We had to develop a whole goofy backward way of talking so that the bots wouldn't pick us up and censor us into oblivion. And elections, of course.
And many of those didn't even violate YouTube's own rules.
Nope. No violations. That's why when I would repeatedly send messages to him saying, what? Why did you what? For what reason? Why? Why can't I say this? Why did you slap this with a warning? Why did you block this video? Why did you erase this video? You said it's what? You're accusing me of what? Where? Tell me, point to it. They never would. Because we weren't violating anything. We weren't lying. And they did it anyway.
Why? Because the Biden administration pressured them. That's not democracy. That's not free speech. That's government using big tech as their censorship arm.
I believe that might be called fascism, by the way. ABC and AOC, both low ratings and unwatchable.
And now finally, after Jim Jordan's investigation, Google says they will let creators back on. But here's the question, Google. How many lives, voices, and elections were shaped by the censorship in the meantime?
Yeah. Removed my personal profile, removed on Facebook Meta, demonetized on YouTube, Facebook groups deleted, Facebook page deleted, no rhyme or reason, no cause given, no conversation allowed, no specification of what, if anything, was the problem, no opportunity given to remedy any alleged issue. If there was one sentence uttered, is there a way to clip out the sentence and leave the rest? No. We've been in a dark place as a country for a long time now, guys.
So no, don't tell me that you had all the facts.
Yeah. When you get to determine what the facts are, you could try to tell me the score of the baseball game with anything you want. If I don't get to watch the game, if I don't get to actually see what's happening, how would I ever know? And they've been radicalizing people who think our democracy is literally under attack. Our bureaucracy is under attack because they've been robbing you.
You only had what Google let you see. Turns out all of us conspiracy theorists were just ahead of the curve, per usual. So maybe the question isn't what we got wrong. It's what they didn't want you to know. Crazy! What do you...
Yep. And we need our class action. Okay, this happened. I can't play this for obvious reasons. So this is showing ICE. And it's showing the Department of Homeland Security set up like Pokemon. So it's showing all these arrests of illegal aliens, invaders to our nation, people not allowed to be here, criminals being arrested by federal agents, ICE, and they're playing the Pokemon song, saying, "Gotta catch 'em all." This got put out by the White House communications team. Gotta catch 'em all. And they're catching the illegal aliens, the people that broke into this country without permission. And they're being sent to where they broke in from. Or going to jail or both. Gotta catch 'em all. Those are the trading cards of all these criminals. Tons of criminals flew under the radar, snuck across our border. And yet somebody shot up an ICE detention facility or a processing facility today in Dallas. We'll get to that. Okay, so Ryan Ruth, this could have maybe been the headline. But the Trump assassin was convicted yesterday, and then he did something. Here's Jack Posobiec discussing it.
news, but not shocking, not surprising, from the Ryan Routh case, where reports are now that Ryan Routh, the violent leftist who attempted to murder President Trump, also just attempted to commit suicide inside the jail, inside the courtroom, where he attempted to stab himself with a pen after he was found guilty. We don't know exactly what his status is, with his medical status, whether or not he did injure himself. But again, the violent left is on full display. It's on full display. Utah Valley University, Florida courtroom, Butler, Pennsylvania, ABC station in Sacramento.
Take your pick. Make sure that you do not let your eyes stay closed. Open them up and open them wide, he says. This is the real world. Just stunning breaking news. Ryan Routh is currently not seriously injured. Attempted to stab himself in the neck with a pen immediately after the guilty verdict was read on all 5 counts, including attempted assassination, assault on a federal officer, firearms violations. U.S. Marshals quickly intervened and subdued him, preventing any significant harm. Reports indicates the pen was a specially designed courtroom tool that could not cause deep injury, resulting in only bruises or marks on his neck. Briefly removed from the courtroom, returned shackled, and did not appear injured during the remainder of the proceedings. He's on suicide watch, St. Lucie County Jail. Scheduling set for December 18, 2025. That's more assassination culture. This is not good, people. So, Fearless Debates was just escorted off a historically black college or university campus in Tennessee after trying to have civil debates with students on campus. Once again, the left is showing their true colors. The left is violent.
All we did was set up a table.
Where is the protection from the campus staff? You know, you say, hey, keep a foot or two away from that dude. What the hell's wrong with you? Out of his face. You don't give out of his face, I'm going to arrest you. You arrest a couple of people, everybody gets the message and shuts up real quick. This is a failure from this college. Absolute failure from the college. Steven Crowder said, you know, there should be a rule that college campuses have to protect anybody from any side. What are they doing? It's only okay to have one type of radical speech. Hey, speaking of speech, watch this. This is AI-generated content. Buckle up. Look at the guy on the top, but look at Taylor Swift talking at the bottom. AI-generated.
Listen, what you're seeing right now is crazy. We are crossing a line in human history where the boundary between reality and fiction is vanishing. And this is not Hollywood billion-dollar high-production studio. This is open source. This is from your computer, a click of a button, and most people will not be able to even tell the difference now. So be safe out there. Question what you see. Verify what you believe. And follow who wants to stay ahead of the curve. Friends, listen.
Okay, so we're here. We know we're here, but yikes. All right, this mom has some conversation about the autism alerts.
I'm going to say something because it needs to be said. Why are we focused just on the Tylenol? Okay. He went
shared from the Do Not Comply account.
Up there and he
a little bit of Texas is the name of the person.
Said other things. If you were listening and if you weren't so focused on just being hateful. Also,
Kenneth said Ryan Routh is going to Penn State. Yeah, I think maybe reversing it to the State Penn. I think that works. State Penn. Oh, we are in deep trouble with AI.
Said we need to.
And maybe we needed to wait long enough for AI to be this way so that anybody on an Epstein video could just claim that's not me, that's AI. How would anyone know? How would anyone know?
To look into the, I don't know what I could say up here because I get flagged all the time. So
you see that? Like, we're so conditioned, we're not allowed to even discuss our health. As if we're not the ones in charge of our fucking health. You can't talk about vaccines. You can't talk about any of this stuff. This is how abused we've been as content producers. I do this all the time. I put the finger gun up to my head and say, for countervailing views on health and elections, look at the scroll at the bottom of the screen. Go to cdc.gov, who.int, or cisa.gov/rumor control and get countervailing views to whatever she's saying. Like, we've been forced to say this. Because YouTube, Google doesn't think that we're adults. They think they have a monopoly on air quote truth. And it's not true. It's never been true. But that's how they've been treating us.
oh, you know, the thing that goes into the kids' arms, the baby's arms, when they're babies from 2-month-old, 4-month-old, 6 months, is too much. And he's not saying we should be anti. No. That's not what we're saying. There should be less of it, and it should be spread out. Okay? Also, the MMR. That should be all separated. The MMR is measles, mumps, rubella. Okay? Other countries have banned the MMR together. A 3-in-1 shot. They have banned because it was harming their kids. Okay? This is way back. That was about 15 years ago. So we are late to the game, okay? We should be happy. 90% of mothers I know are so happy because finally we have people talking about the problem that's going on. If you ask teachers, there's a huge problem going on. Ask an elementary teacher what she is seeing. These kids are different. How are you guys mad? We want our kids healthy again. I'm not understanding that. Help me understand it. Is it political? Would it be better if it came from another party? I don't know. The other parties had chances to talk about this and no one has.
There you go. The Democrats had a chance to talk about this for 4 years and they haven't been.
Folinic acid has also been studied. This is all studies, guys.
Folic acid, folinic acid. I'm not entirely certain which version of that, but if they're discovering there's deficiencies in the synapses, the neurons firing between the receptor cells, so that folic acid isn't getting to certain places, and there might be some treatments that can help people with that. Isn't this exactly what we would ask our government to do, is help us figure out what could be hurting us and try to reverse that? Yeah. Do you trust the government? No, you couldn't trust the last one. You don't trust, you verify. And it looks like they're actually doing work and putting scientific facts together to help get to the bottom of what's causing all this stuff.
They're not just going up here and announcing things to us. I've been reading about these things for years from neurologists, from scientists. Studies show kids with autism, they're not absorbing folate. I have a folate receptor test literally upstairs because I've been following this study. This is not new. RFK Jr. he's not a doctor, he's not a scientist, but they are working with doctors and scientists and neurologists, and they are relaying the message. And the other argument, oh, my kid's on the spectrum and they're perfectly fine. We don't need to find a cure. They're not talking about your kid. My kid's on the spectrum too. They're not talking about my kid. They're talking about the kids in diapers at 10 years old. They're talking about the mothers who would never hear "and I love you" from their 20-year-old. Those are the kids they're talking about. It's crazy, right? It's not all about you. It's really crazy. I'm going to say something because it needs.
So there you go. Or you could just chug Tylenol, you know. Katie Zakaria says, President Trump's speech at the United States today is the most savage, indisputably true, and necessary smackdown of straight facts since the inception of the United Nations in 1945. God bless Donald J. Trump. Katie Zakaria. Tim Pool says Kimmel once again refuses to acknowledge the motivating ideology, stating the assassination represents no group. That's always the lie that they use.
I think what I have to say is going to make much of a difference. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I have no illusions about changing anyone's mind. But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is you understand that it was never my intention.
What was your intention? Tim says that he's refusing to acknowledge the motivating ideology.
To make light of the murder of a young man. I don't...
Oh, he's crying. You thought that that was a smart thing to do, to come out and start pushing your bullshit on us that day? Really? What day was it? Was it that day, the next day? The day after that? And trying to blame it on MAGA, I love that. It's like, oh, you loved your team so much, you took out your own star player. Huh? That's not a thing. That's not a thing. And he still doesn't identify the radicalization.
I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it, and I still do.
You meant it. You still do. You find Jimmy Kimmel to be a compassionate person?
Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual. That was really the opposite of the point I was trying to make, but
Oh, you mean like all the people who are cheering Charlie Kirk's assassination, who are getting spoon-fed propaganda like they're trying to steal your democracy and trying to genocide you? You need to go get them. They're literally worse than Hitler. They're the Stasi. They're the SS. Your side has been saying this nonstop about normal Americans for more than a decade. Something like that.
I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear, or maybe both. And for those who think I did point a finger, I get why you're upset. If the situation was reversed, there's a good chance I'd have felt the same way. I have.
You might feel the same way. I told you, this guy hasn't been funny for 10 years, 15 years. But he really is a mouthpiece. ABC, ESPN, Disney. Perhaps the wokest company in America. Multinational. 99% of the guests are always spouting left-wing ideology. And a lot of it off-the-wall stuff that doesn't go challenged. Therefore, it is a wing of the Democrat Party. ABC, ESPN, Disney, these companies have done everything woke, everything targeting Americans for so long. People are sick of it. Whether it's The View, whether it's Jimmy Kimmel, we're absolutely exhausted with your crap.
Many friends and family members on the other side who I love and remain.
Why is it the other side? Why aren't you on that side? It's normal America versus the radical Democrats. What would make you a radical Democrat, Jimmy, other than your paycheck? Why aren't you on the side of normal Americans? 21% approval rating, 79% on the other side. Why are you on the 21%?
Being close to, even though we don't agree on politics at all. I don't think the murderer who shot Charlie Kirk represents anyone. This was a sick person who believed violence was a solution, and it isn't.
Okay. Well, where did this person learn such anger and rage? Wasn't it your Democrat Party convincing the trans boyfriend of the alleged shooter that they're being genocided and it's either us or them and you need to go get this guy? Go get him? Implicitly or explicitly? I know nobody wants to take that on and go, I didn't say that. I didn't. Man, look at your party. Look at what your party's been doing for 20 years. Look at how militant things have become under Barack Hussein Obama. Look at it. You've been pushing this nonsensical hyperventilation, nonstop culture through your airwaves. They're not public airwaves. They're radicalization calls from the deep state Democrat Party. You want to go on cable and you want to go do your own podcast, that's fine. But like, why even the FCC, like the Federal Communications license for this network, it is just a 24/7 propaganda arm of the Democrat Party now, isn't it? The lying legacy media.
Ever. And also selfishly, I don't think what I...
Anyway. Comments, fake tears. He doesn't give a single crap. Acting. John Lovitz. Acting. Pentagram Press says, I'm sorry you're upset that I lied. Not my intention to point blame, but specifically said MAGA. Buddy, we all saw it. It was on camera. I've watched Kimmel cry more in a year than I've seen my dad cry in my entire life. Yeah. Crocodile's tears. Oh, crocodile tears for sure. All right, let's go to our X feed. Scroll through this. All right, we're right here. Pinned to the top of our X feed is our Patreon page. That's a conversation between John B. Wells and myself, talking God, Trump, Biden, Deep State, and World War III. It's also the link to our Patreon. So you can subscribe to become a patron on our Patreon page. We've definitely cashed out a couple of times through there. Moderate sums, but growing. Thank you to everybody who has signed up and everybody who will sign up. And it's pinned right there to the top of our page. Thank you, everybody. Because that just goes right back into, we haven't been able to pay for our Restream subscription yet. I think it's $700 or $800, but it's, it's making a dent. It's paying for some of the things. Because it's not like I get to do this show for free, and it's not like I get all of the tools, whether it's the electricity or the internet or the software programs or the time that I need to dedicate to produce this show for you. So yes, all of your support is super appreciated. There's the link to our Patreon page. If you forget how to find it, it's just pinned right there, or you could search it on Patreon, The New American Media. Let me take countervailing opinions off of the screen and just remind you that The New American Media exists on all the places: Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, Rumble, Odysee, Twitch, Kick, DLive, and YouTube. Just search The New American Media. Telegram and Signal at TNAM and TNAM Chat. On X at American_Media_. And subscribe to the Agree to Disagree show and the Unhappy Hour sports show on Spotify and Apple. All right. So Pierce Morgan says, look at this and you'll understand the real problem with America's late night comedy shows. They're all partisan political activists for the Democrats in a country where a majority of the voters at the last election voted Republican. I mean, look at that. 511 liberal Democrats as guests on that show, on these shows. 511 to 14. Like that's not even, they're not even trying. And on public airwaves, you're supposed to be doing things that are sort of like, countervailing views-ish for the community good. But the Democrats are just rage baiting people to make you think that Orange Man's a Nazi. Go get Charlie Kirk, take him out. He's a threat to our bureaucracy. Like, this is not a country that can survive if it's actively engaged in destroying itself. It's not a freedom of speech issue. It's a holy shit. It's all completely one-sided. They're illegal campaign contributions. Nick Shirley says, I've never been treated so foul by a group of people in my life. This is exactly why Charlie Kirk died. People do not want to have conversations. Watch this and think to yourself, is this how a sane and civilized person treats someone? I know this dummy topless lady. She was there in the Bronx, dressed like a zombie or something. Look at me. Look at me. I need all the attention. Look at me. Look at me. I need all the attention. It's
And then us to act the way that he wants us to act. You can't have it both ways. You can't have your fucking cake and eat it too. You know the same thing? And they're not giving Palestinians food for 2 fucking years? Right? fucking white people doing the
We're animals!
And counting!
What about bitch?
Yeah, I know the lady yelling we're animals. I know Olia, the videographer, scooter caster, Ukrainian-American journalist. I stay back and document and observe. It's a whole industry of like giving these political agitators more attention. I don't know. I've been to a few of these things, and it's performance art, and it's I don't know. It's kind of dumb. It's kind of dumb and demonic, yeah.
I'm an animal, bitch! You're acting like one. Tell that to the right! Tell Charlie Kirk he's in my pussy! And Charlie Kirk died of a fentanyl overdose! Charlie Kirk died of a fentanyl overdose! That's what he died of!
That's what they said. That's what they said. That's what they said about George Floyd.
Charlie Kirk, lay off the fentanyl, bitch! Lay off the motherfucking fentanyl, bitch!
Charlie Kirk had fentanyl in his system, the autopsy said. That's what the autopsy said.
I don't support what happened on October 7th. Do you support a two-state solution?
happening right now.
Do you support a two-state solution?
A two-state solution?
Yes.
I think the Palestinians, if they want their own place,
No, we want our own land.
They already have.
I took our land. That's all it is. Are you against that? Are you for Israel getting their Palestinians back and every Palestinian from around the world returning to the land? Are you for that? Are you for that?
Are you for that?
Release the hundreds of children that are Palestinian. I don't support that.
Okay. I mean, just there you go. Palestinians and Israelis. Palestinians and Israelis. Here's Richard Nixon on Israel.
Let me explain something about what is called the Jewish lobby in this.
He says there's music again. I can't play it. Lobby being Israel first. It doesn't mean you're putting America second. An American president, however, approaches it in a different way, in my opinion. He's got to always think first of what is best for America. An American president must make a decision that does, in effect, give the Israelis a blank check. And one example, that is a decision that I made. I decided early on in our administration that we were going to seek good relations with Egypt and others of Israel's neighbors. Many of my Israeli friends didn't like that because they wanted a special relationship with Israel and Israel only. It's a constant conversation in American politics. Joe Rogan, back to Charlie Kirk. I mean, he's here with, who's he talking with? Sorry, it's not saying it here, but I watched it. I'll tell you in a second. He's not quite buying the Charlie Kirk
They
story.
know what's going on yet. There's a lot of weird shit going on with this.
I know.
First of all, there was that one guy who...
That's the comedian... Not Andrew Schultz. It's Siciliano or something.
Who is the decoy. All right, so you got this guy who's an older guy who starts yelling out. Didn't he take his pants down? He took his pants down. This guy was at 9/11. He was at the Boston bombing.
All the hits.
He called in a fake bomb at another place, and then he did this at this thing. Right after, so somehow or another, this guy has the state of mind that the moment someone gets shot, he yells out and says, I did it, and takes his pants down or something like that. I don't know exactly what he did. Then, ready for this? He gets arrested for child porn right away.
Right after this happened?
Oh, right away. He's in jail for child porn.
I think the comedian's Andy Santino. I think that might be it.
Why is that? Well, now you can't interview him.
Right, he's got, right.
Right, and because when the internet people start going, how are you at all these different things? Like, what are the odds? Like, if someone ran it through one of the ChatGPT fucking perplexity things, like, what are the odds that this guy would be at all those different events and be involved? Like, zero.
This is the guy?
Yeah.
I just like that the pants down part is just insane to me. It's like, why is your dick out, dude?
I did it. Listen, I'm not saying this guy isn't insane. He's clearly insane. Yeah. Or not. Or he's professionally insane.
Right.
He plays a character to be the distraction.
That's where it gets
to steer stories.
Squirrely.
I almost texted you when the Charlie Kirk thing happened because my antennas went up about. They showed the photo of that kid or the guy that they have, the 22-year-old, whatever, and I was almost going to be like, dude. That you think he's got the capability to do that?
Yeah. Well, listen, there are people that look like that have the capability to do that.
Pretty accurate.
Nope.
No?
Not hard. Not hard at all. Let me dispel that. Okay. 200 yards from a prone position with a dead-on rifle. So if you have a dead-on rifle, so you set this rifle, you set your 0 to 200 yards, right? You know how far you're going to shoot. It is not hard at all.
He shot a lot?
You don't have to shoot a lot. So I could do it tomorrow.
If you're no, but you are experienced. If it's someone that's never shot, could they do it?
100%. Not if they've never shot.
No,
they wouldn't know.
You'd need a little bit of practice, but not much.
Where to look, they'd have a hard time acquiring the like when you look through a scope, like when the reticle is weird. Like it's sometimes
takes a minute.
You got to know the distance that you have to be from it to really line it up in your sights. But you could get a guy like my friend Andy Stumpf, who was a sniper in the SEALs. You could get him, and he could show you how to do it in an afternoon, and then you could hit steel at 200 yards every time you pull the trigger.
One day you could learn that.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, not that hard.
Because it feels insane to me. I'm like, that seems tough.
It seems tough. We still haven't figured out whether or not the gun that shot Trump had a sight on it. Because we weren't sure if it had a sight on it or if this guy was using iron sights. That was 140 yards. If you shot it with iron sights, that's a lot harder. Because iron sights is you're lining up. So you have these two things in the back and there's one thing at the front of the barrel. And you got to line those bitches up perfectly. And that's how you stay accurate. That is a lot harder to do.
It's like old shotguns have those, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Pistols.
Yeah,
like
pistols
when you buy a
them.
Glock,
Yeah.
that's what it comes with.
Right.
But this kid had a rifle with a scope. Now, here's where it gets weird. The first images of this rifle with a scope, I swear to God, it looks like he has a composite stock on it. Like it looks like a modern 30-06 rifle.
But then they say it's a World War I relic with no serial number.
So a 30-06, so that's the rifle. 30-06 is like, that looks like a very modern looking.
Yeah, it looks like a Remington or something you'd get out of a catalog, something modern. I mean, it looks like it.
Stock.
It looks like it's made of like, I don't know, some sort of hardened plastic, a polycarbonate, this, that, or the other. I don't know what they make them out of. But some plastic blend. Whereas if it were World War I, you would expect to see a wood. You'd expect to see wooden components.
I mean, it might not be. It might be just a bad resolution. It might be wood. It's hard to tell.
I guess wood could be painted or sanded and painted.
But if you showed me that and you said, hey, this is my cousin's rifle, is this any good? I'd be like, looks like a standard bolt action rifle with like a sophisticated modern scope on it. Sure. Now, apparently, the narrative is that this is his grandfather's rifle from World War I and doesn't have a serial code.
How convenient.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. Why? Wait. Why are you using such an old gun? Like, that's kind of crazy. Like, is it possible that an old gun can be that accurate? If you have a gunsmith and they work on it, yeah, it's totally possible. If you have a really good gunsmith and he sets, if you're like a nostalgic person, you like driving an old car, you could bring it to a mechanic, they could redo the brakes.
Sure.
So if you got a good gunsmith and he took a look at that and the action was true and, you know, the bore is good, you know, yeah, you could conceivably shoot with a gun for hundreds of years, right? Guns don't necessarily go bad.
Right, they don't expire.
Right, and especially because all the stuff like the trigger and the action and all that different stuff is replaceable. So you could just like it's compartmentalized. It's components. That's the other thing. They said that he took it apart and then put it back together again. Shut the fuck up. Do you know how much time it would take to do that if you were highly skilled?
To disassemble a gun.
To disassemble a rifle so that you can get it in a backpack. And by the way, not going to fit.
Not going to fit in a backpack.
And then somehow or another reconnects it once he gets off the roof? What? What's that about?
Is that what they pitched, huh?
Yeah. And then he's supposed to get it in that stupid fucking backpack. It's literally, it makes no sense.
And the elevator music was a nice touch, by the way.
Yeah. So this is just a narrative, right?
Yeah.
We watch a guy jump off the roof, and then we supposedly find this rifle. So if you can have a guy that's in the audience that's yelling, I shot him, now shoot me.
What was that all about? This is a coordinated plan. Or these are just separate, totally separate things that have nothing to do with each other? Which one seems more likely to you?
Shot him, now shoot me. And then that guy gets arrested for child porn charges. Like, he's like, what is going on here?
Yes. And I've told you, the CP charges are the easiest ones to fake. Anybody could have a finger pointed at them. How would you know? Now, are you on tape doing, like, are you in public doing something? Like, how do you, oh, nope, just trust us. Nope, totally found some stuff. Did you know? Did you really? Did you now? Did you really? And that's what Joe's pointing out here. How convenient. Now he's silenced.
And then you find this rifle, and then you say, oh, he assembled it and he reassembled it. Like, okay. If I wish I was a cop, I'd sit in a room like, this story is horseshit. Like, none of these things make any sense to me. Like, you're telling me that this kid who's not military trained, this guy, first of all, how did he get to the roof? How come nobody was looking? How come nobody was like, there's a direct line of sight between where he's sitting and those roofs? You guys didn't check? You don't have a drone? Like, that's insane. So
how are there not 4 drones above at all times? And can't you just map like the tops of roofs and you can keep a look at those things? Why wasn't that a part of the security team? Everybody knows that's what you're supposed to have.
He's on the roof. He shoots.
We said the same thing about Trump and Butler. Well, everybody knows you're supposed to check the roofs. What are you kidding me? They set him up intentionally. And if he didn't move his head at that exact moment that he did.
He jumps from the roof. He jumps down 14 feet.
Yeah, we saw didn't they have video of him jump? Somebody had a cell phone video of him jumping.
There's
down,
a video
right?
of him jumping. So this guy, whoever it is, jumps off of the roof and lands, whether or not he's even the guy who shot him. Maybe he thought he was going to shoot him. Maybe he's a patsy. Maybe he did it.
I feel like he's a plant. Did you see the video? Did you see the person doing the investigating on his mom's Facebook?
No.
You haven't seen this? Have you seen that, Jamie? Some dude online.
His mom's got a weird Facebook. I
It's
spill coffee.
very trippy. It doesn't make any sense. Like, the more they keep looking into it, the more they're like, this doesn't feel like a real. It feels super fabricated.
But here's the thing. Just like I was talking about when people are arguing on social media, it's all a part of the plan. If you want things to be,
I wanted it so bad. Buckets. That was buckets.
If you want people to lose all faith that anyone is going to solve anything, you add a bunch of, if you're going to kill a guy, you add a bunch of other wacky shit that doesn't make any sense, and you spam it out there at the same time.
Misinformation and disinformation.
You leave a gun that didn't do it out in the woods. You do a bunch of shit like that.
You have an old man put his dick out and yell, I did it, I did it, I did it.
Yeah, you get some kid who has a boyfriend who's a furry, and you talk to him on Discord. I think he's a furry. I don't want to disrespect.
I don't know if that's a real thing.
His boyfriend's definitely a guy who became a girl.
And where's furries?
You can't become a girl, but the guy dealing with gender dysphoria, living as a furry, living as a girl, trying to transition and live your life that way.
Tough.
I think they do furry sex. Or furry games. Excuse me. My apologies. I don't want to disrespect the furry sex
shout
or
out to the
furry game community.
Yeah,
bro. Shout out to the furries because.
Shout out to the furries. So Joe's not buying it. Trash Panda asking if he had the screwdriver to take it apart, how was it the screwdriver was found on the roof and the fully assembled rifle was found in the woods? Thank you. Doesn't make any sense. Well, this is what I was starting to tell you before. There it is. MJ Truth Ultra. Well, let's just listen. This is Andrew Colvett of Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk's producer.
You asked me this earlier, so let me make sure I'd say it. Charlie's position on Israel was very clear. I like them more than I like Hamas. I just wish I was free to criticize Israel and not be labeled an anti-Semite, because I can criticize my own government and not be called anti-American.
Right.
But why do I have more freedom to do, that and not criticize, a foreign government? And he was really upset that there was this sort of clampdown on the freedom of expression, the freedom of ideas, free speech when it came to a foreign government. And I will say this, he felt like he had earned the right as a friend of the Jewish people over the years and all of the things that he had done. He felt like his bona fides in that respect were unassailable and that he should have the freedom to say, hey, it's time to end the war. Hey, it's time to stop the killing. But, you know, when you, with Tucker, for example, yeah, I mean, we took some pushback, we lost some donors. And what's interesting is it wasn't necessarily Jewish donors, although there was, because that's a misconception about Turning Point's funding base, by the way, is, you know, it's not a whole lot of Jewish donors. It's just not. There was always, I saw the comments online like, oh, the Jewish shekels or something like, I mean, it's all this gross stuff. It just wasn't true. And it isn't true. But we did lose, you know, one in particular towards the end that was frustrating. There's this great clip when we were in Myrtle Beach and he got asked if, you know, from somebody in the audience, if he was going to, you know, debate Candace or, you know, disavow Tucker. And Charlie's answer I thought was amazing. I remember he came off stage. He was like, "Do you like that one?" And I was like,
he would always ask that for reassurance.
Yeah. He always loved like, "Did you see that? Did you really listen?"
Yeah. Do I look good? Was that a good clip? Do you think that would go viral?
Yeah. And I remember saying like, "Yeah, I thought it was amazing. It was morally so crystal clear." And he basically said, "I don't appreciate being morally blackmailed." And you know, and every time people would say that to him, he would dig his heels in. It's like, well, maybe Tucker's going to give 2 speeches now at AmFest.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll invite so-and-so.
That was.
Yeah. The bully tactics don't work, but they try them. It's bully culture. And with someone like Charlie, oh, you're going to tell me I can't do that? I'm going to do that even harder.
One thing, like Charlie and I relate to him so much is that him and I both do that where we don't like being told what to do.
Oh, I've noticed that before. By the way.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Andrew, I'm like, oh, there's so many things that we could talk about. How many times that Andrew and Charlie have had to put out fires for me that I've started. But like, yeah, when I'm told I can't do something, it's like, well, I'm going to do it even harder then. That's just my personality.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie is very much the same way.
I think that's the key. It's like Charlie was a friend of the Jewish people and a friend of Israel. Did he have opinions about the prosecution of the war, he thought their PR was abysmal.
Better or worse than Trump's with the Epstein list.
Thought they were doing more harm than good in many ways for their own cause. So all of
they've definitely burned through any sort of sympathy they used to have. Constantly telling us about what happened with the Germans, constantly. And any criticism, oh, you're an anti-Semite. Excuse me, I can criticize anything I want. Doesn't make me any name that you put in the box. You don't get to define me. If anybody watched last year when I was doing all those shows with Blake, co-hosting, producing as a guest, all various versions of it, we battled, and he made all sorts of anti-Israel, anti-Netanyahu accusations. I'm like, well, then prove it. Show me. Prove it. Show me. What are you talking about? Like, all right, great story. Where is it? Where's the evidence of that? I didn't see it. I didn't see the evidence. Okay, make your point. All right, you got to bring some proof. Where's your proof? I don't see your proof. Yeah, nobody who watched that series last year with Blake and I, or the past year and a half or whatever, I'm not pro Hamas. Like what option do you have in that? That's not a good. It's not, what else are you supposed to do? You're going to be pro Hamas. Ones that butchered 1,200 of their neighbors, and they're like, "Why are you fighting back?" It's like, dude, you butchered 1,200. Well, the claim is like, no, Israel did that to themselves. They killed their own 1,200. You're like, all right, show me the proof. Well, what? Well, a pigeon couldn't land on the Israel border without anyone knowing. It's a police state over there. Every square inch is monitored. The only way that happens is if they do it themselves. And my response would be, wow, it sounds like you're blaming the victim of an SA because she wore a skirt that was too revealing and she was asking for it. I don't like that. Show me proof. I didn't see proof. But to know that people asking questions are being labeled anti-Semitic or this or that, it's a turnoff. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I think you need to look under that a little bit more. The dog that's not barking. Well, that's the dog that's barking a lot. The dog that's barking is the one that you hit. 3 or 4 times, why did Netanyahu come on and say, oh, we didn't kill Charlie Kirk? What an odd thing to say. Why are you saying that? And then Netanyahu's reportedly running around saying that he has the United States in his back pocket, and it kind of looks like it. He's bragging to other countries, allegedly, according to Cenk Uygur and a couple other reports. This is not good. This is not good on really any level.
Those things were true, and he was upset that he couldn't express those things freely.
Yeah, and just being told you're not allowed to talk about something, though, that means you got to be... That's a place you need to double down and look a little harder, it seems like. Thou protesteth too much.
Without all of this pressure coming down on the organization, he has a lot of great Jewish friends and, you know, and some people that maybe some not so good ones, right? But I think it's just a nuanced thing.
And it's the conversation.
You asked me this earlier, so let me...
Anyway, I don't know who that person is. The other person.
The American Jewish Committee called in a statement Charlie Kirk an anti-Semite and, quote, dangerous. Charlie Kirk, an anti-Semite. He was not an anti-Semite. He was the opposite, and he was not dangerous. He was a great lover of people and a purveyor of peace. He was the opposite, and he was very stung by that. Those of us who've been called names for a long time are a little bit harder to offend. Charlie was deeply offended by that and expressed some of those feelings on Megyn Kelly's show and in other places. But that did not let up. The reason I'm telling this story is because he called me and then came to see me at my house about this topic. And I said to him every single time, look, it's, you know, I've got my own way to communicate my views. This is actually not the most important issue to me. There are lots of things I can talk about. I don't need to come to Turning Point. I can take a year off, no problem. I hated seeing how much he was suffering, the hassle he was getting from people, and I was being attacked too. By the way, it was a huge effort. I wasn't fully aware of it, actually, because I don't go online that much.
Yeah, they've been singled out, it seems. Hello, Danette says Voltaire. The quote, if you want to know who controls you, look at who you are not allowed to criticize. Timeless quote, perhaps. Former CEO Sujin Wojcicki admits that they removed over 1 million COVID videos while coordinating directly with Biden and Fauci. Even more disturbing, she doesn't just defend the censorship, she pathologizes dissent, musing about whether anti-vaxxers should be psychoanalyzed for their behavior. This wasn't content moderation, it was government-directed censorship at mass scale, which erased science and silenced citizens and tried to rewrite reality. So take a look at that thread later. So apparently this is a wild story, disgusting. A 14-year-old's been arrested and charged after beating and brutalizing an elderly employee at NBA YoungBoys concert. He was reportedly asked to sit in his correct seats. Attacking a security guard. What a cheap thing to do. And he starts going bonkers on this guy. An elderly man. And nobody's jumping in to stop this guy.
At the T-Mobile Center is recovering after police say he was dragged into a crowd and beaten. Thank you for joining us at 6. I'm Lauren Magarino.
And I'm Zach Summers. It happened last night at the NBA Young Boy concert. The incident captured by multiple people and is now circulating on social media. KCTV5's Ali Espinosa joins us live outside of the T-Mobile Center.
And Ali, you talked with staff about this. What are they saying?
Well, staff here at the T-Mobile Center say they're disgusted by this incident. It all happened here last night and captured on cell phone video. But we do want to warn you, some of what we're about to show you is disturbing. The T-Mobile Center hosts big names in Kansas City, bringing tens of thousands of people together per event. But what happened Sunday night at the NBA YoungBoy concert is now getting the attention of police. This is just one video viewed 60,000 times of an incident, which police say happened just after 9:30. You see that employee pulled into a crowd. We'll pause the video here, but it goes on to show a juvenile punching that man repeatedly. Police tell KCTV5 they detained the juvenile, but it's unclear if he's facing charges at this time.
It would be unclear if that would be worthy of filing charges.
Investigators say both this employee and another victim were taken to a hospital for their injuries. A representative from the T-Mobile Center called the incident horrific and that it does not represent what normally occurs in their arena.
I sure would hope not.
A night meant for music and fun, now ending in an ongoing investigation and an employee recovering from a serious beating. Now, staff here say they work hard to ensure the safety of fans and employees. Both officials here and KCPD say this is an ongoing investigation. Live from downtown, Ali Espinosa.
So that was a brutal attack. Awful. Hey, the UN is popular news. Let's check in with Ben Affleck and Jennifer Gardner's daughter. She has some demands. She wants mask mandates at the UN. We can and must do that again. We can recognize filtered air as a human right intuitively as we recognize filtered water. Dude, if you want to wear a respirator, you have at it. That's always been the case. You don't get to demand other people do it. That's crazy. Stop. I'm not going to play the clip, but you can imagine. So here you go. Tucker's talking about what BB's running around saying to other people, allegedly. He's on with System Update with Glenn Greenwald.
BB's running around. This is a fact. I'm not guessing about this because I talked to people he said it to. Is running around the Middle East, his region, and his own country and telling people point blank, just stating it, I control the United States. I control Donald Trump. He's saying that. And again, I'm not guessing at all. That's a fact. And I dare them to say that's not true because it is true and they know it's true. So I'm an American. How do you think it makes me feel? Even if I didn't vote for Trump, which I did vote, I campaigned for Trump. But even if it was Joe Biden, I'm an American. You can't it's too humiliating. I can't handle that. And I shouldn't have to put up with that. This is a country of 9 million people. I'm not even attacking the country. I'm attacking my leaders who are allowing my nation of 350 million people to be forced into doing things that are bad for me and my children because of some other country. Like, that is a violation of the most basic arrangement we have with our leaders, which is represent us, please, at least most of the time, and they're not. And there's an ongoing humiliation ritual designed to make us all crazy, designed to turn us into haters. I'm not going to give them the satisfaction of becoming what they call me. I'm not a hater, and I'm never going to become one. But I will never accept this. I shouldn't have to accept it. I have nothing to be ashamed of. I have no unexpressed views. I'm not hiding anything. I say exactly what I think all the time. This is wrong. And if it's not wrong, tell me how it's not wrong. Why don't you stop attacking me and trying to get family members fired, which they never stop doing? Why don't you instead tell me how you disagree with me? But they can't because they don't actually have an argument. There's no way to justify controlling the U.S. government for the purposes of another country's whatever their plan is, expansion. There's no way to justify that. And so they just scream at you and call you names. And I guess I'm just blessed because I don't believe that about myself. So that doesn't hurt me. You know, if they said, well, you've gained 10 pounds, you might hurt my feelings. But calling me a bigot doesn't hurt my feelings because I know that I'm not. How's that?
Yeah. A lot of people being told what they think and being told what they are. Someone slanders you with something and that's supposed to be reality just because someone said it. That's not really how it works. Yeah, how much are a pair of earbuds? We got a Danette earbud fund. Number one, I would have to find out where to mail such a thing. Number two, does anyone know how much is a set of earbuds? I feel like wireless earbuds can be kind of fairly affordable these days. You want to go get a couple $100 replacement, fine, you do that, but at least a decent pair shouldn't be too expensive. That would be cool. I was thinking the same thing. Maybe we should send her a set of earbuds. Wouldn't that be neat?
teacher and instructor.
So the resonance here says here is a rabbi getting arrested in Florida for meeting a 14-year-old boy for all the wrong reasons.
So with you being a rabbi, a teacher, an instructor to young children, how can you tell me that you're not a threat? If you're willing to meet a 14-year-old for sex, you drove all the way down here.
Yeah, that was very stupid to do.
Very stupid, right?
Yeah, extremely.
You wanted to bottom? What does that mean? What does bottom mean?
That
I'm
mean-
not familiar with this term. What does that mean?
Okay. That means,
Explain it.
That means the active person is the guy on top and the bottom is the one.
And you wanted a bottom? You wanted a 14-year-old to put his penis inside you? That's what you wanted?
Yeah, extremely uncomfortable.
Well,
another one. Freaking teacher, guys. A rabbi. So with
sometimes the ones you least expect. Will Chamberlain reminds us that this lady here, Democrat congressional candidate Kat Abou-Ghazaleh, bragged about physically obstructing ICE officials just a few days ago. With the shooting in Dallas, we see how these crimes put ICE officials in danger. Miss Abou-Ghazaleh must be prosecuted, to Pam Bondi. Here you go. Vic Vega says the left is already claiming the sniper shooting at the Dallas ICE facility was a MAGA shooting at the detainees, not the ICE agents. Sure. Yeah, because MAGA would shoot at people that are getting removed from the country. That doesn't make a lick of sense. Does it still appear that the divide and conquer push is still active? Yeah. That's funny, Trash Panda Texas. I bet Danette would have an extra pair in her purse if she would look. Yeah, a woman's purse is truly a magical place. That's why I try to avoid them at all costs. Big show of police force at the ICE field office in Dallas, Texas, that was attacked by a sniper on Wednesday morning. One victim passed away and the sniper took their own life. The attack comes hours after Gavin Newsom called for violence against ICE. Let's take a listen.
Look, we had a 15-year-old disabled kid in Los Angeles was waiting for his sister to come out of high school, and they pulled out guns on this kid. They pulled out guns and handcuffed this young child. That's happening in the United States of America. Masked men jumping out of unmarked cars, people disappearing, no due.
Do you hear the picture that this guy is painting? Trying to convince people that they need to go to war with our own immigration services, that they've become tyrannical because they're actually getting people out who don't have the right to be here, that snuck in here with criminal histories, people that aren't citizens, people that should not be here. And he's making it seem like people are just being kidnapped willy-nilly by who knows who. They're just disappeared. That's not how any of this works.
Due process.
Claiming there's no due process, which is wrong over and over, and the court's proven wrong, and he keeps saying stuff like this.
No oversight, zero accountability.
No oversight and no accountability. It's all in the courts, and you know it.
Happening in the United States of America today. People ask, well, is authoritarianism, you're being hyperbolic? Bull, we're being hyperbolic. If you're a black and brown community, it's here.
Oh my God. Pushing this is Joe Biden Jr. doing the same racist song and dance. If you're black or brown, these people are coming to get you. But I'm one of the good whites. I'm a white knight. Look at me. I'm a Democrat. I'm one of the good guys. This is Joe Biden Jr.
This country. And so I'm deeply proud that I had the privilege of signing the nation's first bill to address the issue of masking. Also to require you have simple identification. To your point. I mean, if some guy jumped out of an unmarked car in a van with a mask on, tried to grab me, I mean, by definition, you're going to push back. And so these are not just...
You got to push back on ICE. There you go. That's by definition, you must push back, says Gavin Newsom.
Authoritarian tendencies, these authoritarian actions by an authoritarian government. You saw what Stephen Miller said last week. This should put chills up fine. Called the Democratic Party an extremist organization.
A Democrat domestic terrorist extremist organization, yeah. We watched you burn America down. Not prosecuting the violent, crazy people in North Carolina leading to Irina Zarutska. Yeah, the right doesn't do that. You want to talk about the mostly peaceful protest on January 6th all day, fine, but you can't call it an insurrection. That's never been true, and you've known it, but you keep gaslighting people. If you lie long enough, maybe people will believe it. No, people have tuned you out because we know you're a liar.
Basically a terrorist organization. See,
yes, completely a terrorist organization. By your actions. That has nothing to do with me. That's because of you and your actions. Don't pin this on us. The Democrat deep state are the ones that are funding and promoting this stuff. Here you go. What channel is this on? CBS, ABC, NBC, the legacy media companies that are just mouthpieces for the Democrat Party.
And he's going after his enemies. You saw the tweet that Donald Trump sent out, Truth Social, basically telling Pam Bondi, I want these 3 people taken out. That's happening in the United States. This can't be.
The criminal penalty for their illegal coup, for their actions. It's not a Donald Trump thing. That's a you guys thing. You're the ones that did it. Nobody made you do that.
That's happening in the United States. This can't be normalized. None of this can be normalized.
Well, Governor, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Governor Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
So apparently it occurred when detainees were being brought into this Sally Port. This shooter, we're not sure exactly where he was located, but was able to shoot into that Sally Port and struck at least 3 people. That shooter now is down from this self-inflicted wound. So we may not know exactly what his plan was, what they were intending to do, other than to shoot people this morning at an ICE facility. We're learning more as we get it. And particularly, we're interested, obviously, in learning about the conditions of the 3 individuals that were struck this morning. So apparently,
that happened this morning. John Basham asks, did NBC News' false story contribute to ICE.gov sniper attack in Dallas? NBC's vile lie exposes they were forced to retract false story that ICE used a 5-year-old autistic girl as bait. Her criminal alien father abandoned her, and agents heroically rescued the girl. But they're misreporting it, says John Basham. If you were watching, or if you were wondering if CNN is, hold on. If you were wondering, there's supposed to be a comma there, CNN is not covering the Dallas ICE shooting. Instead, they are interviewing 2 angry ladies, a Washington Post opinion writer who was fired after her Charlie Kirk comments and is seeking to sue. Bunch of morose-looking people right there. Governor Newsom's press office says Kristi Noem is going to have a bad day today. You're welcome, America. When are they going to be held responsible, like Gavin Newsom's Democrats, his comments, for their calls to terrorism? We have an Antifa problem. We said the deep state Democrats are pushing for a civil war since the American public are removing them from most positions of power via elections. The radical left have become domestic terrorists, another sniper attack with engraved bullets. This is coordinated, and this is war. Well, let's check in. Not everything's been politicized, right? Clearly, you'd want the best for your child, or
28 weeks pregnant. You know what I'm gonna take? Some Tylenol, decimated. It's gonna work like a charm, and my baby won't have autism.
Oh boy. Best wishes to you. What am I supposed to say? I mean, you've been warned. I mean, what happens if the kid comes out disabled due to your actions after you were specifically warned and you specifically smirked and did this for fun? What if it's not fun? Trump derangement syndrome, everybody. Yep, the fearless debates here. This is Cam Higbee. Their tour tabled at HBCU Tennessee State University, and after 10 minutes, a literal riot erupted. They stole our stuff. They followed us to our car. They attacked the car. They shouted Black Power and blocked our exit off the campus. And the topic was DEI.
Yeah, they threw a drink up top.
Oh my gosh, they threw a drink up top.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Did somebody just throw something in our car?
Arrest. They just tried to hit the car. They're still hitting the car. Whoa! That was loud.
It's the mob. It's terrorism. Anyway, there's our show, Strictly Guardians there. The Tribe beat the Tigers for AL Central lead. Best story in sports. Let me talk some other stuff as well. Rob Schneider, comedian, wants to chime in. He says, Dear Jimmy Kimmel, and I saw Rob Schneider perform at the Bobby Kennedy event in Nashville, Tennessee last year. That was great with Russell Brand and others. Dear Jimmy Kimmel, in your semi-apology tonight, you lied again. You were not making light of Mr. Kirk's death. The suspension you justly received last week was for falsely accusing MAGA and Republicans, one of their own, you said, for the murder of our friend Charlie Kirk, when it was in fact just another in a long line of murderous leftist lunatics who killed Charlie, who get their inspiration to kill from your dangerous rhetoric, your dangerous leftist rhetoric. You and your other late night hosts and other illiberal media's constant propagandizing and demonizing fellow Americans as fascists and Nazis have created the atmosphere where leftists feel that killing people who think differently is justified. And you were not even telling it in the form of a joke either, you liar. Even your own ABC affiliates are bored and sickened by your constant political indoctrination by comedic imposition and refuse to air your show. Free speech is indeed all speech. We must even protect the speech that we loathe. Well, most Americans are decent, God-fearing people, and we loathe your speech, but we'll continue to support your right to speak it freely. But we don't have to watch, and we won't. Signed, America. Kimmel has a tier delay system. He didn't dry cry last week when a young father was murdered in front of his children. No, he waits to dry cry only after his show is suspended. Thank you, Nexstar and Sinclair Media, for your sense of decency and American values. 7 days ago, Jimmy Kimmel's exact words: the MAGA gang desperately tried to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them. But now today, I don't think the murderer who shot Charlie Kirk represents anyone. He's a sick liar. As if we don't have the internet, if we can't look. Cat Turd says Jimmy Kimmel is not a comedian. He's a far-left activist propagandist for the Democratic Party, yes. Andrew Kolvitz says, yes, Jimmy got emotional. So what? He's emotional for himself because he almost torched his entire career. Kimmel is an unrepentant liar who tried to blame Charlie's assassination on the part of the country that just spent the last 2 weeks praying and holding vigils. What he's really saying is that he still thinks it's fair game to slander conservatives. He would rather advance his own political and cultural agenda than confront the truth. The truth is that his own side has been fanning the flames of political assassinations for years. The truth is that someone on the left picked up a gun and murdered someone on the right who advocated for peaceful debate. It's critical that liars admit they lied. There can be no restoration without that. Anything short of that is fake and scripted cry line designed to endear him to his fans, not to make right the wrong that he committed. So I guess DHS Secretary Kristi Noem confirms multiple fatalities. So I guess it's at least 2. That was the number I was hearing and other injuries. I mean, I guess it could have been a gang hit if somebody wanted to have a sniper take out gang members. We don't know. 72-hour rule. We don't know anything about this. Shooter deceased, self-inflicted gunshot wound. Kristi Noem, Secretary of U.S. Department of Homeland Security Secretary. While we don't know the motive yet, we know that our ICE law enforcement is facing unprecedented violence against them, and it must stop. Pray for victims and their families. And also down here, check out Strictly Football. That was our Week 3 review, Season 2, Episode 5 on the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Please check that show out. I think I found a couple other stories. DC Drano says, remember when the Gateway Pundit got banned off Twitter 1.0 for posting the 3 a.m. video of the mysterious van dropping off tens of thousands of unsupervised ballots in the Detroit Counting Center? Now over 1 million election docs have been obtained by Freedom of Information Act. The truth will soon be freed. Allegedly dropped off at 3:25 and allegedly a spike at 6:31. Patrick Colbeck says, breaking, if you never thought we would ever have an audit of the 2020 Detroit election records, think again. Thanks to New Jersey native Yehuda Miller's FOIA and legal persistence, we now, through court order, have access to all the Detroit election records from 2020 general election, plus the Wayne County records for cross-check purposes. Why does this matter at this stage of the game? You may not realize this, but there are still quite a few lawsuits pertaining to the 2020 election in play right now, including legal actions against Mike Lindell, John Eastman, electors in Arizona and Georgia, and others. Plus, there are active grand jury investigations with likely connections to the 2020 election that promise to result in criminal indictments for election malfeasance. Oh, and President Trump has called for a special counsel to investigate the 2020 election, so there's that. The Detroit records will now be examined by meddling kids in a methodical manner that will thoroughly document any and all malfeasance short of those only evident via electronic voting system records, which remain hidden from public view. The effort is likely to take more than a month to complete by volunteers, but it will be done. Remember, the most exhaustive review of Detroit election records to date was performed by the Wayne County Board of Canvassers. The Republicans on that board voted no on certification, in large part due to 71% of the Detroit AVCBs being unbalanced. Number of ballots did not equal the number of voters. If the audit indicates a fraud rate that would erase the 154,188 margin of victory allocated to Joe Biden, then the 16 Michigan electors for the 2020 presidential election should have rightfully gone to President Trump. Stay tuned. As findings are released, you will hear about it. So stay tuned on that one. Cenk Uygur says, yesterday Tucker Carlson said that he has sources who say Netanyahu is bragging to other countries about he has America completely under control. I also have a source who said Netanyahu is gloating that he has the U.S. in his back pocket, end quote, quote unquote. He's using it as a threat to others. So those are the accusations, people. Those are the accusations. All right. And those are the stories that I wanted to share with you today. Kenneth just bought a mug. Kenneth wants a mug. If you want a mug, shoot us over a super chat, $30 super chat. Although I probably need to rethink that number now that I'm thinking about it, because I think they keep 30% of the super chat. It's fine. All of you regulars, that's fine. But maybe after we run the first batch, maybe it'll be 40, because we lose $9 out of 30 to super chat fees. But I'm looking here, Kenneth, to see, do I still have your address? I should still have your address, but do I? I don't know. Can you email me, Kenneth? Brian at the New American Media. I think I have your address around here, but I would have to locate it, and it might take me a moment for sure. But Kenneth, thank you so much. Look at that. Double super chats. Kenneth would like half a cup. Kenneth is like King Solomon. I'd like half a cup, please. I'll split the baby in half. And both of you shall receive death. That's a Simpsons. That was a good episode. But Kenneth changed his mind. He goes, boom. You know what? Make it a full cup for I am Charlie Kirk. Thank you, sir. See, and actually, I think 40 is probably the right number there. Because out of 40, 12 would go to YouTube. And 28 would come back here, which is that gets us to the 28 minus shipping. I'm imagining that would be 8 to Florida. We'll see how cheaply we can ship that. So net 20, and the mugs theoretically cost 12. So after all of that, after everybody gets their cut, theoretically, if we had the sunken cost on that, that'd be $8 to TNAM, 12 to create them, 12 to YouTube, 8 to shipping. And shipping could be 12 or more. I don't even know. But it's totally cool. Like, because like you guys should all get this first batch of mugs. All the regulars should have your own mugs. Thank you to the wonderful donation from John. 18 mugs, limited edition. It's pretty awesome. You will text it. Oh yeah, you could text it. That's good. Did I get my earlier note about the bottom of the package? Now, does that mean, yeah, plus the 6 million that YouTube owes me? Exactly. I don't think that's a lot to ask out of YouTube. There need to be severe punishments for what they did to violate our civil liberties. Literally taking money out of, this channel used to post videos and interviews with people, and they get thousands of views, tens of thousands of views, hundreds of thousands of views. I mean, you're lucky to cross into triple digits sometimes with 6,500 subscribers, millions of views, talking about the current events that everyone's searching for, a consistent track record, cranking out more content than ever. We're still getting shadow banned and silenced. We're still getting abused through their censorship. It's not done. Oh, we're allowed to come back. You're allowed to pay me for the hassle. You're allowed to settle a class action lawsuit. So anyway. Okay, Kenneth will text that. Yes, I will try to get that out to you immediately. It's awesome. We got mugs, people. We got mugs. We got merch. Maybe what I'll do is I'll set up a Shopify store. I'm not entirely certain how to do that, but I do want to put our coasters, sets of coasters for $30 a piece if anyone wants them. Venmo and Cash App or PayPal. And we have pins for the Unhappy Hour Sports Show right here. Right there. There's only 100 of these made, 25 a piece. So it's 75 for all three, or if you just want one, circle or Ohio-shaped sports coasters. Yeah, drinks and coasters. That's what we do here. We're at a bar. I need to get like shot glasses. I got all sorts of pint glasses with. I have ideas, people. I have merch ideas. But hey, seriously, thank you, Kenneth. Kenneth gets a mug. You get a mug, and you get a mug, and you get a mug, and you get a mug. And we get another fine episode of the TNAM Daily Show, dumping out the news stories, interesting conversations. You know, the person that started yelling at me a couple of weeks ago about, you should put a disclaimer then. You should, don't tell me what I need to do. You need to approach a situation with open eyes and open ears and evaluate each conversation for what it is. You eliminate trans people. I never said such a thing. Never once. Yeah, well, you shared something. We'll find it. Well, no, you gotta find it. I'm not digging through the rubbish. You got something? Show me. What are you even talking about? And by the way, in case this person isn't aware of the internet, for the past 15 years, a retweet does not equate to an endorsement. A retweet does not equate to an endorsement. Sharing something and discussing something doesn't mean I believe in it. Doesn't mean that can you believe he said that? If I'm reading somebody else's words, that's not on me. Oh, see, I'm going to clip this apart and make you into a vile person. That's where we're at. No, where we're at is in America, and we have conversations, and better ideas are supposed to win the day. Not the loudest bullies, not the meanest people. Kenneth is doing some traveling. Does that mean you want me to hold off on sending you the mug? Definitely text me the address, though. But and also just text me, Kenneth, if you want me to hold off on mailing the mug, if you don't want it sitting on your front porch for a few days. But thank you so much, the Super Chats. Let's check in on the Super Chats. And let's check in on our ability to have advertisements back on our channel. Let's see if this number has changed. So we now need 678 pennies in the wishing well to turn on advertisements on our page, on our YouTube channel. What did I say, 622? No, 600. Let me do that again. 678. 678 pennies in the wishing well. Each penny is an hour of content watched. Then we'll be able to turn on advertisements on our YouTube channel again. So please check out our archive of content. 2,000 videos. There's plenty to watch. Do you want me to wait? And you said no. Okay. Got it. Well, then, yeah, just text me the address and I will send it. I know I have it sitting around here somewhere. I didn't find it within the couple of moments that I took a quick look. It's right here somewhere. Yeah, I'll be sure to get one out to you. Courtesy of John. Thank you, John. What note about the bottom of the package? Did you email me something? But there was honey from your apiary in there. That's super awesome. We had talked about the apiary. So I'm curious about that honey. Haven't had a chance to have any yet, but that's super cool. Yeah, got the care package. Nope, it just says available for pickup. I didn't see another message. But yes, I did grab the 2 honeys out of there. I took all of them out and made sure I understood what the package was. So thank you so much. All right, everyone. I will be back. Yes, that. Okay. Yes, that. Got it. Yeah, John makes his own honey from, I'm trying to remember the name of it. Lake Leon, right? Lake Leon Apiary. It's awesome. I think it's super cool. I'd love to have bees. It's just another thing on the list, Takes a lot of work, but they're the pollinators, man. It is the way. I've just been really digging Whole Foods lately. Just pasture-raised eggs, organic free-range butter, organic grass-fed beef. Just keep it simple. A couple of organic apples, a couple of organic veggies. Keep it simple. Some cans of chicken, some cans of tuna. Just simple food. Salmon tonight. Haven't made salmon in a while. Let's hope I still remember the recipe. So salmon's easy to overcook, and you definitely don't want to undercook it. So it's a little tricky, but yeah, that'll be coming today. But yeah, thank you everybody for being here. Oh, the thing I was going to check. Let me hit refresh on our super chats. Let's see where we are. Do I have to scroll? Can I scroll? Does that show me all? Oh, see all. Okay. So let's see. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. We got 82 in our super chat fund. And once it hits 100, we're able to make a cash out, make a transaction. So yeah, we're like $18 away on the super chats from getting a transaction, which is good because then I got to double check and make sure it's linked to the new bank account because it's probably linked to, and I probably still have that other account open. So it should still work. My old AdSense account from 2019, I think, when the PewDiePie adpocalypse went after me and said, nope, you're not an authoritative source. You're not Jimmy Kimmel. We can't let you talk. That's what they did. And they don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's crazy, people. Crazy. Well, thank you, everybody, for being here. I'll be back again tomorrow. Oh, here's a programming note for tomorrow. Programming note for tomorrow. I may go early tomorrow. Trash Panda, you're awesome. See, I don't even want to admit my mistake because I rounded it up. One of them was $4.99. One of them was $1.99. I should have rounded up to 19 because it's 2 pennies. It's literally 2 pennies short. So now I'm sitting at $99.98. I still can't do that. Trash Panda, thank you for the super chat. And thank you, Kenneth, for the Kindle working. Shoot. Yeah, technically, I need 100 in the super chat fund to make a withdrawal. No, hold on, because hold on. Let me double check something. I'm new to this. I'm just glancing. Let me assume that this other super chat already got paid out, but then why would it still be in here? But that was my last one in 2019. So if I take that out, I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 60, 80. Oh, I got to hit refresh. Sorry. If I took that $2 out, I might need 3. I don't know how this works, guys. I'm literally just guessing. Super chats. Where super chats? No super chats yet. Okay, that's not accurate. Now they all disappeared. Oh, okay, they're back. Okay, now I can count. Let's see. Well, I mean, it's still in here like I didn't cash it out. Maybe my YouTube AdSense had unclaimed money in it because it's still showing, but it's from 6 years ago. February 20 of 2019. Sitting in here now, it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 60, 80, 98, 99, 98. Almost so close. Yes, I need $1 million. Did I mention I need $1 million in there? I mean, hey, crypto billionaires, let's go for it. All right. Well, people, thank you so much. I'll be back tomorrow, and I'm going to try to aim to go early tomorrow. All right. The aim will be to go early. So 9 or 10 a.m. Eastern, early. That would be the goal. If all goes well, I'm going to try to do that early at 9 or 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow for the TNAM Daily Show. You guys are awesome. You make this fun. I love that we all get to hang out and just talk about what's happening in the world. As always, if there's something on your mind, tag us at American_media_, and we'll try to work it into the show. In breaking news all the time in all the various places, including the Facebook group, TNAM's The Agree to Disagree Show. That group is nonstop finding new stories and new angles and good conversations. So join us in all the places. Signing out. I appreciate you. I love you. And we will talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace out now.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.